jaloux. Nous on travaille donc tout ça y a pas chez nous. Les couteaux dans le dos et la haine surtout. Je peux te garantir que ça y a pas chez nous. Oui, ça me fait mal. Je suis dans la salle. Laisse-moi quand je parle. Oh, ça y est, moi je m'en vais. Mon frère, tu m'as blessé. Pourquoi tu m'as laissé? Allez, toi aussi. כל מה שעשית תמיד היה בשבילי, את המיטה שלי, תמיד לקום לא ליפול, היה ממש שלי. הובלת אותי קדימה, נתת לי כבר את כל הלב שלך, הלב שלך, אמא.
Good evening. We'll get started in 1 minute, everybody. Song is in all languages. It just gets you all pumped up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our fabulous Wednesday night training with my dear friend, Tommy. But before I get him started, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ori Ahmedi, and I have the honor to introduce one of my really good friends who is going to be training on the harmonic scanner tonight. A little bit about him, and then I'm going to let him tell you the rest. You know, he has a gift, and this gift only came to him later in life. If you guys can just mute your phones for me and your background, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, you know, Tommy growing up, he was diagnosed with a couple of disabilities. One of them was dyslexia. But today, you know, that disability that he has become a huge gift to many people all over the world. Just the way he teaches is so elementary. And for a little Italian guy, I have to tell you, he's got patience, because Italians and Israelis, that blood is fire. So with that being said, Tom, it's all yours. Thank you so much.
Maria, thank you so much. We're going to do the recording and transfer the
recording is on.
Cool. Are you going to drive? Or am I going to drive?
You're driving. I'm making you a host right now.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, everybody. Listen, thanks a lot for chiming in here and checking out the Wednesday night training. And very basic, very beginner, very fundamental type stuff we're going to go over. But before we get started, I just want to let you all know that I am merely a very happy IML subscriber. I have a nice team. We're not going to talk about team building tonight. We're just going to talk about tools. We're going to talk about trading. We're going to talk about the foreign exchange. But I am not a quote-unquote professional trader. I don't have a Series 6 license. I don't have a 7. I'm not a financial advisor. I will not tell you to get in, get out, none of those things. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. What I am going to tell you is a little bit about my journey for the last year in IML and some of the bumps and bruises, and the whole effort for the next, 6 or 7 hours, no, for the next hour or so, is just going to be to hopefully shorten some of your learning curves so you can come up to speed with some of these tools a whole lot quicker than myself, me and some other people. So that being said, Ori touched on a little bit. I have been blessed with several learning disabilities, and they are absolutely a blessing because they kind of make me who I am. When I was 2 years old, I assembled my first mechanical device, and when I was 5 years old, I built my first complex machine. So that's not normal, but that's just the way God wired my brain. And I tell people I'm living proof that God's got a good sense of humor, because he gave me a very acute natural talent in one area and totally whacked me out in like everyday life. Like I barely made it through high school. So, and it's very humbling. It's a nice balance. Now, how does that fit into the foreign exchange? Well, I learn things a little differently than most. And I have a little different twist on things that sometimes people can relate to, and it might be helpful. I hear so many times, I'd love to study the foreign exchange, but I'm not good in math. I'm so not good in math. I only trade. We need to be on mute, guys.
You
guys, mute your phones, please.
No, $87 for each shot.
Yeah, I don't know how to mute everybody.
Can I go get you brother if you get the 100 I'm gonna get it.
Right?
Tommy, if you go to participant, you can actually see who's not on mute, and you have the control to just mute them.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So just mute everyone except you for now, and then when you open up for questions.
All right, I think you're also muted. All right, cool beans. So if you can't hear me, shoot up a flare up in the chat. But I think we're all good. I think. Yeah. So I kind of learned things a little different way, and I just want to be able to share some of the tools, some of the steps that I take, because I'm really not good in math. I only trade the Japanese yen on all the yen pairs because there's only 3 decimal places, and it makes it really easy for my little head to grasp. So that being said, we're going to go over some cool stuff. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to bring up a scan. This is the harmonic scanner, and one of the first steps that we do is, you'll notice over here on the left, these are all brokers. So we click on a broker, and I like going to scan for 1 hour, 4 hour, and a day. I like the long charts to pick from. And right now, these are the pairs that the scanner has identified that are in motion. So why is that important? Well, that's how we get paid. We get paid by pairs being in motion. If a pair is static, there's no change and there's no pips to be had. So the harmonic scanner is basically running in the background. It's a program. There are several algorithms that are just running. It's doing math that you and I don't have to do. And it says, wow, look, let's pick up on USD. So this is, if you look over here in the upper left, this is the pair. It's USD JPY. I'm just going to refer to it as UJ. And it throws up a shark pattern. Now that's kind of cool. I really don't care what the pattern is. I just see that this is in motion. And what it tells me my entry price is down here by my D extension. See, we have an A, X, B, C, and D. That's all math that we don't have to figure out. The scanner said, yo, look, this is what's about to happen, or I think this is going to be happening. So the scanner is good about 8 out of 10 times, which is phenomenal, right? Now, in this particular chart, this particular call, it's giving me an entry point at 110.9 whatever, and another entry point at 110.6 whatever. And this actually has not made its entry. So it's running off into a buy like it said it would, but it missed the entry. Now, that happens, but it doesn't mean that this information is bad. See, one of the things that I'm going to show you is how to look at some of these charts and take a miss and capitalize on it. And why am I calling this a miss? Because if you just took the harmonic scanner and typed the information into your brokerage account, you wouldn't be in this trade right now because it didn't make the entry. Does everybody understand that? It missed the entry. So what is it doing? It's running off into a buy, just like the scan said. And down here on the RSI, that's the lower half of the screen, that stands for the Relative Strength Index. And it kind of looks like a crazy heartbeat because it just goes up and down. There's a lot of money to be made when this thing goes up and down. But when it goes up past 70, you're getting into the overbought positions. That means everybody in them other bought this thing, and sooner or later it's got to come back down. When you're at the 30%, 30 or below, you're an oversold. That means everybody already took their profit, they got out, and the price should come back up. Now, you might have heard someone tell you, look, what goes up must come down. That's true. But if you're on the wrong side of a trade, it'll come back to you long after you're broke. So don't be doing, it'll come back to me. I don't want to hear about it's going to come back to me. If you're on the wrong side of the trade, get the hell out and manage your account wisely. Because one of the first responsibilities of, I'll say a good trader or an experienced trader, is not really to make a boatload of money. Your first primary responsibility is to protect your account. So what that means is you have to be just as excited about taking a loss as you are about taking a win. What do I mean? Well, if I've read my chart wrong and I'm falling out of the, I'm riding the red bus. Everybody been on the red bus? You enter a trade and it immediately goes in the other direction and your account goes red. Well, I have a very low tolerance for pain. So I'm 10 pips and I'm out. 10 pips and I'm out. That's just me. I'm not going to tell you where to start, set your stop loss or anything like that, because that's totally up to you and how you want to drive your account. Me, but when I lose 10 pips, I had enough, because I typically go for 5. I want to grab 5 pips and run away like I stole them. So if I just lost 10, I only have to have 2 wins to make up for my mistake. And sometimes it's not a mistake. Sometimes it's just the way it is. You're in a market where in order for people to win, someone's got to lose. And sometimes you're on the losing side of the trade. You just got to suck it up, and that's it. You just lost. Now, how it becomes a little more tolerable to experience those things is by appreciating your demo account. When I first got started trading, I considered demo as like purgatory. It was like I got sentenced to demo until I get through my stuff with a Daisy Duncan. I can't get out of demo until. Well, let me tell you something. That is a very novice understanding, a very novice perception of demo. Demo is your best friend. Demo is where I go to exercise my Forex skills. Everyone seen Randy Webb? Everyone know who Randy Webb is? You know that cat's in the gym a lot, right? You see the way that guy's built? He's built like that because he stays in the gym. His brokerage account looks like him because he's in demo. He stayed in demo for a long time until he learned his lesson. So when you open up a demo account, that account is free. It costs you zippo not and nothing, free. Goose egg. Didn't cost you anything. But what I'm going to urge you to do is when you start your demo account, I need you to keep in mind, or I suggest you keep in mind, how much money you're going to actually enter the real market with. How many Benjamin Franklins you're going to put on the line? You're going in with 1,000, you're going in with 100, you're going in with $20, you're going in with 10,000. Whatever that number is for this conversation is irrelevant, other than the fact that that's exactly what your demo account should be. If you're going in with $1,000, your demo account needs to be $1,000. Why? Because you need to have that visceral experience of trading the appropriate numbers. You don't start a demo account with $17 million in there, trading in lot sizes of 1,000, and then put $100 in your account and go into micro lots. It doesn't do you any good, right? Because when you learn your lessons in demo, and when you figure out your micro lots, the lessons that you learn are the very same lessons, the same technology, the same experience, and the same skill set that's going to work on lots of 1,000. Now, on a lot of 1,000, you get paid $10,000 a pip. So if you're trading in lots of 1,000 and you pulled 5 pips, are you happy? That's 50 grand. Now, it's not too thrilling when you're in micro lots and you pull 5 pips and you got like 5 cents. I'm with you. I got it. I understand. But what I want to drill through your head, especially with the harmonic scanner, is trading is not a direct path to money. IML is not a direct path to money. IML is a direct path to the skill that by default brings the money. The skill by default brings the money. So when you understand the chart, when you have a reasonable level of skill, the money is an afterthought. So you don't even have to think about it. I'm just grabbing my 5 pips. Okay? Now, I got started doing pretty good, made 5 grand, lost 5 grand, got really upset with myself, and that's how I came up with my little Italian strategy. Okay? All I want to do is win. 5 pips, take 5, stay alive, get the hell out. Now, when you have a run rate of 75, 80 wins in a row, 60 wins in a row, 110 wins in a row, and you're taking 5 pips, that's still 500 pips, right? So I just think of it as a little different way. I take little tiny bites, simple, easy peasy, because as you do this, your skill is going to come up, your confidence level is going to come up, and it's going to be a very pleasant experience. You know, when I trade, I have to turn my fan on. Excuse me, guys. When I trade, it's like I'm playing a sport. It's like fun for me. It's not this laborious thing where I'm petrified that I'm going to lose money. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to look at my chart. I'm going to see what he's got to say. I'm going to play a trade. I play. Sometimes I win. Sometimes I lose. Okay, so let's get to some chart. So look at this crazy chart, man. This guy right here did some scary stuff. It missed the entry. Another way that you know that you're in a buy is because the stop loss is below the price. Here's your stop loss way down here. So if my stop loss is below the current price, in order for me to make money, I got to be in a buy. Simple. So here we have this one huge candle that for me, man, if this would have hit the entry, that's my payday. Here's my ruler. I'm going to come over here. You can click on my D. That's 53 pips. Praise the Lord. All right? But this trade didn't hit. So what I do is I like using some additional tools. Nothing wrong with the scanner, 8 out of 10. There's valuable information here, but in order to get this information out of this chart, I need to lay some new tools on here. So I come over here to indicators, click on indicators, and I type in BOL, and the Bollinger Band is going to come up. And here it is. Boom. Look at how pretty. John Bollinger. I love this guy. So what Bollinger Bands are is the top line is the average high of the market of this pair. The bottom line is the average low of this pair. And the red line is the median. And if you look back in time, you can see how this thing plays out. You'll notice that the price goes from the low edge to the high edge. Low edge, high edge. Low edge, way up high. Way down low. Look at this wick. This is like a stop hunt from hell. This is crazy. So Tommy, why do these crazy things happen sometimes? Well, sometimes it's from a news announcement. So there's a place called the Forex Factory. And the first thing I do before I go to trade is I want to know what kind of news announcements will you be encountering if you enter a trade. So you can come over here to filters, and I check the red high impact news and the orange guys. I don't bother with the yellow. And these are all the things: growth, inflation, employment, blah, da, da, da. And mine is typically checked on JPY. I don't trade the Swiss franc. I don't do that. NZD, USD, Canada. Yeah, all those guys. And now, that's just me. That's what I do. You can have them all checked. Don't matter. But what I want to do is I want to apply my filters. And now, so let's say for tomorrow, April 23rd. Here's today. These are all the news announcements today. And now this is for May 2nd. So look, I have Great British News, the pound. I got all kinds of crazy news going on at 7 a.m. Right? So that's telling me I don't want to be in a real long position or a position trade, getting in now, looking for it to hit tomorrow, because these news announcements might just blow me right out of the water. So this is really good information. The Forex Factory, it's free. So before I start trading for my day, in my trading plan, I do some fundamental analysis, and I want to know what kind of news announcements are going on. Okay, oops, my Harmonic scanner. Okay, so let's go back to the scan. And let's see what kind of cool information we have here. So, although we missed, what I see is this pair left a flat bottom. Here's a flat top. Here's a flat bottom. Here's a flat top. Here's a flat bottom. Now, when you put your flat tops and bottoms in line with the Bollinger Band, you can see that every time there's a flat top, the pair is going to go down. It's going to reverse into a sell. Anytime there's a flat bottom, it's going to reverse and it's going to go into a buy. It just does. I don't know for how long, and I don't know for how much, but that's what's going to happen. So here, if we were looking at this back a couple of candles ago, I'm also seeing that my price closed outside of the low of the market. I'm outside of my Bollinger Band. Whenever you go outside of a high or outside of a low, the pair's going to want to come back. So this is a big, warning sign for me. My harmonic scanner is calling a buy. I'm outside of the low edge of my market. That means it's going to reverse, right? Cool. So it's the scan is looking for it to drop down to 110.9. It never got there. It went to 111. So I missed by 3 pips. But as this candle is growing, you'll see there's a lot of time in there for you to come in and jump in on that buy. Me, I would jump in only after looking at some additional indicators. I'm not ready to jump in yet because my scan is saying buy, my Bollinger Band is saying buy. So I want to go and ask my SAR, my SAR, parabolic SAR, what the story is. Now, let me right-click on anywhere on the screen, go to Properties, and go to Background, and darken this up a little bit, make it a little easier for you guys to see. Oops. That didn't work out so good, now did it? Background. And okay. That's much better. Now my SAR stands for stop and reverse. Now I do an 03 and an 03. You just go to inputs and you can change them. I didn't pull that out of my butt. I was advised to do that by a master trader who shall remain nameless. And I'm going to make that yellow. And you come over here, you can make them really punch them up. Right? This fades them out, and this punches them up. And I'm going to say OK. So stop and reverse. So now, if I got my SARs turned on, and I have my scan telling me I should be getting in, my entries 110, 9, blah, blah, blah. What happened on this candle? My SAR went from a sell. When the SAR is on top of the price, it's a sell. When the SAR is on the bottom of the price, it's a buy. So now what do I have? Well, I got the scanner telling me it's a buy. It missed the entry. I got my Bollinger Band telling me it's a buy. I got my SAR telling me it's a buy. Who wants to get in now? I got a little more reassurance on what the story is. Now, I love SARs so much that I use two of them. I just type it in again, SAR. And on this one, I set this one up as red, big crosses, and my inputs, that's 06 and 06. So I have a fast acting SAR and a slower SAR. So the red SARs give you a quicker indicator, and the yellow SARs come in a little later. And I want to see if I can find somewhere on this chart where this happened, just to explain. Okay, so here I have my red SARs telling me it's a sell. I have my yellow SARs telling me it's a buy. So I got a split decision. My long period of time is telling me buy. My short period of time is telling me sell. I'm over here on the 1 hour chart. I might go into TradingView and look on the 5-minute chart and see what it says there. But not to get too crazy. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. See, I got split, split, yellow, red, and then I got them flipped over. Right here, this is the first candle where they're both on the same side. Now I would get in for the buy. I'm above my red line. I'm going to be heading towards the high. I'm only going to take 5 pips. This closed outside of the Bollinger Band to a flat top. What's going to happen? It's going to reverse. Just don't know when. My SARs didn't reverse to way over here. So if you were patient in here and waited for both SARs to flip, what kind of a ride was that? I'm here. I'm at the top end of the Bollinger Band. I got a flat top, but my SARs are still telling me buy. The moment my SAR flipped over to a sell, boom, this guy went 65 pips. Does it pay to be patient? Yeah. How many pips are you taking out of there, Tommy? I'm taking 5. I'm going to take some 5. I'm going to take 5. Why are you only taking 5? Is there 65 out there? Why? Because if I keep on taking 5 and I don't lose, I keep on taking a small profit. Has anyone ever heard of someone going broke consistently taking a profit? Is that even physically possible? This is what happened to me. I was getting pretty good at taking 30, 40 pips, 75 pip stop loss, no problem. I know it's going to come back. What comes up must go down, blah, blah, blah. Then I got my head handed to me. I had like 3 or 4 bad trades in a row, and before you know it, I'm out 5 grand. So I'm like, how do I make that not happen anymore? Well, take freaking 5 pips. Because what I do on this long ride down is I'll take my 5 pips, I'm going to get out. Then I go through my whole process all over again. What is the scanner saying? Where am I in my Bollinger Bands? What are my SARs doing? Cool. I'll wait a candle. If it's still looking good, I'll go in for 5 more. Now, anybody could look at this chart after it's made and sound like a freaking genius. That's not what I'm doing over here. I'm just saying that the highest probabilities are by using your tools and taking a trade on your tools. So, and I'm going to go right to the edge of the market right now in this last current candle. I'm going to show you exactly what I see and what I would do. So again, we're still on the same UJ. It's a shark pattern. It's a buy. Where are my SARs? I got both SARs telling me it's a buy. I'm at the high end of my Bollinger Band, so I gotta have to be careful. But it didn't close outside of the Bollinger yet. It did a flat top to a flat bottom, and it's going up. So for me, I want to check my RSI. My RSI is kind of flat. I'm heading towards overbought. Good to know. Not going to stop me. Not going to discourage me. But here, I want you to also notice how much gap there is between the SARs and the price on the candle. There's a whole lot of room there. And I want you to notice that these things don't flip typically until they touch. So in order for this to flip over to a sell, these SARs need to come and touch these candles. So for me, right now, I would get in on a buy for 5 pips. So I'm going to show you what I do. I call them crosshair trades. And I do a horizontal line. Here's my price. Right there. And now I'm going to do a vertical line. If I can find it. Vertical line on this candle. Boom. Now, this marks my spot. That's where I said I get into a buy. And now, where's my little texty guy? I lost my text. Bear with me. Ah, there it is, text. And I'm going to come up over here, and I'm just going to write buy. So now, as we're talking, we'll see what happens. Now, where would I get out? Who knows this answer? I'm getting out 5 freaking pips. Where's 5 pips? Right there. Let me get this bigger. See, I have enough room on the edge of this market. I got in here. The edge of the market is way up here. That's 10 pips. I'm only looking for that. So when is this price going to reverse? Typically, when a candle closes outside of the edge of the market. Outside of the edge of the market. This got close. So I feel I have enough wiggle room to come in here on my buy before it flips over and goes into a sell, because my stars are also on the buy side. Now I've been blabbing. Anyone have any questions about what I'm talking about? Am I confusing everybody? Or making sense to somebody? You can be confused and tell me you're confused. I'll do my best to unconfuse you. That's why I'm here. All right, Daniel's getting it. Awesome. Is there anybody here who's been in the last couple of sessions that might want to share some of their activities? I know, Robert, you've been on here for a while. Any trades you got in, any indicators you need to know about, anything I can help you with? Because if not, we'll just go and do another scan and show you right from the beginning. I got crickets. It's all good. All right, let's pull up somebody else. So we come on to a harmonic scanner. What you do is, let me just turn off these tools. Oh, if I leave this, I'm not. Well, we'll run that risk. Okay, this was UJ. Let's come on.
Tommy,
Yeah, Deb.
Daniel's asking a question. Does it matter what broker you choose on the harmonic scanner?
Oh, no, not really. But if your broker is there, pick that one. The brokers are going to be close within a pip or two, and in terms of their what you call it, the spread. So brokers change spread at will. Some spreads might be 0.5, half a pip, or 1.2. Typically, when the market's about to move in a large jump, the brokers will widen the spread because they want to suck the blood out of you. Brokers are not your friends. Brokers are called broker because that's what they're looking to do. They're looking to make you broker. Them and market makers. I'm not going to cover a lot of that information, but know that there are forces out there working against you. Know that the average retail trader will lose 90% of their account in the first 90 days. Also know that those of us in iMarkets Live have nothing to do with being average. We have an unfair advantage, in my opinion, right from the start by the training that we have. A typical retail trader will go on YouTube and read a couple books and throw $100, $200, $500 in the account, blow it, lick their wounds for 3 or 4 months, do more YouTube and come back. So we don't have to deal with that. Look, we got some action. My buy is buying. How about that? Okay, anybody else? Cool, let's go do another one. On the long charts, the hour, 4 hour, and the day. Here's something I find very, very interesting. Remember I told you that these line items, these pairs are pairs that are in motion, right? the math behind the scenes is saying, look, UJ is moving, UC is moving, huh? So if the Swiss franc and the US dollar is moving, and the US dollar and the Japanese yen are moving, what about the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen? Right? So for every time you see pairs with a common denominator, here, Aussie dollar, that means NZD, CAD. That has to be moving. Here, NZD, CAD, NZD, JPY. What does it tell you about NZD? Something's going on with NZD. Something big time, right? So it's time to pay attention. Now, I enjoy using the TradingView platform. I'm not suggesting people run out and subscribe to a TradingView platform. I did, because to me, those tools are incredibly worth it. You can drill down into the information in a very great depth and do a lot of cool things. And one of the things that I do is when I pull these suggestions off the scanner, I'll go drop NZD CAD into my TradingView platform, and then I realize that CAD, Aussie CAD is moving, so I'll go look at that trade as well. So I get some more information. I have a higher degree of trades, trading opportunities by using the scanner in that way. So let's just do NZD CAD. Now, I don't ever trade this. You know, who knows why I don't trade this? Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. It takes me about 3 or 4 minutes to understand what that number says. And if you're scalping, that's just too long. But let's just talk about this chart for people who don't have dyslexia. Right? So here, this is the Trader's Way broker. It's a bat on the 1 hour. So the math identified this bat pattern. And what that's basically telling me is when I hit this entry point, I'm going into a what? Is my take profit above or below my current price? It is above. There's take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. So if the take profits are above, you must be in a buy. And the other telltale is the stop loss is below the price. You're going to stop your loss. You're not going to be, you're not going to be in a sell. You're going to be in a buy. So this is a perfect, I'm in and I'm winning. This is one of the 8. This thing just took off, made people very happy. Take profit 1. God bless America. Because you got in over here. If you just typed it into your broker right off the scanner, you entered here, and you're out on this wick right there at 32 freaking pips. Praise the Lord. Doesn't always go that way, but this one did. So who can look at the scanner and just type in these numbers? Anybody, right? So if you're happy winning 8 out of 10, just type in the freaking numbers. I'm here talking to the people who want to understand a little bit more about how do I get a little, hit 9 out of 10. Get, a good run, a good winning streak going. That's what this conversation is all about, right? So let's look at what happens in Tommy's world when I come over here and I've dropped my Bollinger Band on. See, look at this. This is like amazing. I closed outside of the edge of the market with a flat bottom, and the scanner is telling me it's a buy. I'm happy. Let's go see what my SAR is telling me. Huh. Now here, my SAR is telling me, dude, it's still a sell. With my other SAR. Dude, I'm not so sure. This is telling me sell. And look exactly what happened. I closed outside of the market, and what did it do here? What does that look like? Does it look like consolidation? Looks like consolidation to me. I stopped calling it consolidation. You know what I call it? I call it patience. Patienza. Be patient. Be freaking patient. Because patience pays. Novice traders, beginning traders, myself included, I always felt like I had to be in a trade, otherwise I was missing something. You know what I miss now? I'm missing the losses because I'm patient. So look, we brought in some additional tools. Nothing wrong with the scanner. Incredibly valuable tool. I'm just adding more artillery to my game. Right? So let's see what it said. I got a flat bottom. I love the flat bottoms. I know it's going to go to a buy. Scanner's saying a buy. But I got these SARs that are worrying me. And look what happened. The SARs came and touched the price. Both of these puppies flipped right here. So if you were patient, you didn't have to deal with your consolidation. And that's 37 pips. Can you get 5? If the thing moved 37, can you stick 5 in your account and walk away? Because, dude, the minute I'm getting in on this candle, I got my 5 right here. This is what? That's in an hour. Cool. Now, for me, I would go to TradingView, and I would be flipping down to the 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart if I'm scalping. But that's a whole nother story. But just off of this chart, from what IML gives us, this is a win. Let's go see who else is out there. Does anybody have any questions about the logic on what I just said or how I drew my conclusions? See, this is the way I see it. IML supplies us with paid informants. You've heard this before. Anybody ever watch a cop show and they're looking to solve a murder? All the cops go to the street and they get their paid informants. What'd you hear? What do you know? Well, that's what the indicators are. They're like snitches. The foreign exchange snitches. My Bollinger Band is telling me, yo, Tom, it's going to be a buy. SAR's going to say, no, man, I heard it's going to be a sell for a while. That's what happened right here. These are all my snitches, my indicators. And until all my indicators, I'm having patience until my indicators all line up on the same side of this trade. I'm grabbing my 5 pips and I'm running away like I stole them. Running like I stole them. Make sense? Does that make sense to anybody? Anybody want to set a goal for like 100 wins in a row?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, just take freaking 5 and be done with it. Why? Because you cannot go broke taking a freaking profit. And we as human beings are so freaking impatient with ourselves, and we have such a screwed up relationship with learning that we shoot ourselves in both feet. And this is what I'm talking about. Man, I've been on IML for 3 hours, and I heard someone made 14 grand on their first trade, and what's wrong with me? There ain't nothing wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you're comparing yourself to somebody else. Just learn your stuff. Go in there with a Daisy Duncan, figure out what the hell everyone's talking about, learn the nomenclature, what are the names, what's a chart, what's a candle, all that stuff. Pick a tool. This is one of the most beautiful tools on the planet. And the foreign exchange has got a plethora of tools. Understand yourself. Understand what deficiencies you might carry into the game. Are you impatient? Do you have a low tolerance for pain? Or are you a risk taker? Are you willing to take high risk? That could be just as dramatic a loss potential as being overcautious. So understand who you are as a trader. Where do you learn that stuff? In what? in freaking demo. Until you have a written trading plan, until you understand what makes you nervous, what gets you excited. The first time I entered my first trade, everything was shaking. My eyeballs were shaking, my hands were shaking, I couldn't type in the numbers. Like, oh my God, I'm in the market. You gotta learn, you gotta go through that. You gotta get that exercise out of your system. You gotta get into the Forex gym in demo, lift up them weights, pump some iron, learn some skills, and get it to where you're trading at the speed of thought. You look left, see what's happened, look what the indicators are telling you, boom, and you enter your trade. 8 out of 10, you're looking for a win. If it goes south, I'm getting out in 10 pips. Why? Because I only need 2 wins to come back even. Does that make sense to anybody? Now, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm telling you this is what I do. And why? Because I have no ulcers. This is fun for me. I'm winning on a regular basis. And I'm just sharing with the rest of you guys how to play in this environment in a very low risk kind of way. But now, here's the thing. Here's where it starts getting exciting. Once you get a $25,000, $30,000 account, you trade in standard lots. You trade in standard lots. So if you're going in with a lot size of 10, and every pip's $100, and you consistently pull out 5 pips over the course of a session, you could do that 10 times. You could do that 8 times. Who in this room is going to be upset with me if you're pulling out $5 grand in a session? I think someone should take me to dinner. I'm just saying, right? In the beginning, it's going to feel like, will I ever get there? I made 38 cents. I know you made 38 cents. I understand that. It's 38 cents. But what you learn is the method that got you that 38 cents. When you're in a mini, it's $38. When you're in a standard, it's $380. Just learn the skill. Take your freaking time and learn the skill. There was a time when I didn't do anything other than a demo trade for 6 freaking months. 6 months in demo. Demo. Why? Because once I learned my stuff, now I can go into the market and take several $100s out of the market any given time, any hour of pretty much any freaking day. Let me go back and see if we can find another trade. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying, once you learn these skills, that's what's available to you. I want to see if this guy's still here. Okay. Now, this was real time. Who remembers what we talked about? This is, I call this a crosshair trade. Let's go get my, here, and let's see where we are in my crosshair. Boom. 6.2, did I get 5 pips? Right there, look. Did I get 5 pips?
Yes, yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Who's happy? We should all be happy. Because if you do what I just freaking told you, you got the same 5 pips. Now, you're going to get into this groove of grabbing those 5 pips over and over and over and over, and you can't go broke doing what? You can't go broke taking a profit. It's physically, mathematically impossible to go broke taking profit. Those 5 pips are in my pocket. Now, what do I do now? All right, Tom, you got the 5 pips. I start all over again. Where am I in my Bollinger Band? I'm getting close to the edge of the market. Where are my SARs? I got a lot of room on my SARs. Here's the discipline. What I'm just doing right now is a scalp. This is an hour chart, so it's really not 100%. But if I go into the 15-minute chart and I have this much air left to the edge of the market, I'm closing here, I might get in again. I might get in again. I'm going to check my spread. If my spread is less than 1, I'll jump in there and I'm going to keep my eye on it because sometimes I'll just take 4. But I'm going for 5. So, that being said, who's got questions for me? There's got to be a question in there somewhere.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes, Daniel.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you, Daniel. Talk to me.
So in this case, you're saying you would still hop in for a buy, even though it's close to the Bollinger Band?
Yeah, I would. And the reason being that my SARs are really far away. So typically, that's not going to come back into a sell until my SARs touch that candle. Okay.
I see. Okay.
So
and then in this case, what relevance does the RSI have?
The RSI is still going up towards overbought. So it's going up. It's showing that more and more people are buying.
Gotcha. So it's not until it starts changing directions in the RSI that you start to weigh that in.
Yeah, the RSI might. You'll see that sometimes the RSI just goes flat. It doesn't have a very big vector going up, a very big vector going down. It just means the volume of people is the same. A bunch of people are selling in there, but the buys are keeping the average the same. Because there's buys and sells. In every candle, there's buys and sells. Not 100% of the people are buying in a candle. There's just more people bought than sold. And that's what the RSI is all about. So relative strength. It's relative to how many people buying, how many people selling, which way the RSI is going up or down. And the little 14, if you look at it, it says RSI 14. That's calculating on the last 14 candles. In this case, on the hour chart, this is being calculated in the last 14 hours. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Cool beans. Great.
Thank you, Tom.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're up on an hour. Time flies when you're having fun making pips, right? So, I want to caution anybody in this room that if what I'm telling you right now is the first time you're hearing it, and I hear that you went and did it in real money before you demoed it, and I actually get to meet you in person, I'm going to smack you across the side of your head. Do this stuff in demo. Demo, 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 demo. Does everybody understand? I love you all. All right. Back to you, my girl.
Thank you, Tommy. Before we all get off, thank you so much, Tommy, for an amazing hour of training. But before we wrap this up, just to let you guys all know, next month, our team is hosting a pretty cool and epic event here in Fort Lauderdale. We're going to have Mr. GJ David Hoyt do a 3-day event in Fort Lauderdale Beach. It's going to be amazing. So the tickets for Eventbrite are on Legacy Worldwide, on 2% Nation. And if you don't see it, just reach out to one of us. If no one else has any questions, then we are going to say goodnight to everyone. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Right. Good night.
Ciao. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Love y'all.
This is May, so it is this month is that Mr. GJ.
Thank you.
La vie vient tout de tout sans déconner. Mais c'est toujours pas parfait. Attends, je vais tout expliquer. Hey, quand tu m'aimes,
Hey.
vacances au petit
Good night, Aurea. Good night, Tommy.
Comme ça, comme ça, comme ça, comme ça.